Today I'm going to be talking about the recent changes made in August 20th update. So one of the changes we have is the engineers, now their basic cost reduction, besides like for Dell before putting anything on, or Baird just in general, or Cat just in general, their cost reduction is now 15% instead of 10%, which is actually fairly nice. I think it should have always been closer to 15% than 10%. In Mac, they upped his bleeding damage from 65 to 80% at max level with the Botox, and his Adrenaline Junkie card is now up from 65 to 80% at max level, making him even better in escape and questionably viable. I mean, right now with those numbers, with the extra capacity, easily hold his own as a playable character for Insane, Inconceivable with one of the harder modifiers off. Don't know if it really gets him up to really being playable in Masters, but it is a nice buff for him, especially for Escape. Lonnie's short range deflection now once again provides resistance to melee attacks, which is really nice because she's pretty much just wall bounce and melee, wall bounce, melee. So the resistance to the melee attack for that card is really nice. I always liked that it was, and I did not like when they changed it and they made it so it wasn't resistance to melee. She also now has an increased bleeding on her melee from 100 to 150% in Horde at max level of level 10, making her with the mace be able to do immense damage. I've already posted a video or two, actually I did 2 or 3, of gameplay with her at max level perks, and she can really tear up with the mace. So 50% increase. This actually makes her pretty viable to hold her own on even harder level difficulties. Baird has added perks for max health, ultimate cooldown, fortification damage, and fortification health. I kind of like this, that they're now adding perks for the engineer. A lot of times there is extra money, especially if you're doing a 50 game. And Baird is a combat engineer. I know a lot of people don't play him like that, but like if you ever seen my games, I'll do a lot of damage with Baird. Baird can be highly useful as a combat engineer. Him having perks, especially the max health, I mean the fortification damage and the fortification health just makes sense because he's an engineer. Ultimate cooldown, whatever. I do like the other 3. Dell also has max health, ultimate cooldown, fortification damage, and fortification health. His increased damage of his Dell custom robotics card is increased from 30% to 60%. I mean, really, they're more useful to kill things and on lower level difficulties than anything else. Don't really think that makes much of a difference, but they were pretty crappy to begin with, so 100% boost is nice. Cat now finally has some perks as well, getting a little bit of a buff with the max health, ultimate cooldown, fortification damage, and fortification health. I know a lot of you would have liked to see her get even more. I'm kind of sad that all these extra characters that aren't gears that were put into the game aren't more comparable to the other ones. I would have liked to see them slightly underpowered, not in their current state as significantly. Cole has got a little bit of a debuff. His reduced melee damage on his Trash Ball Pro card is down from 70 to 60%. Not that big of a deal. Reduced damage resistance of Cole's inner fire from 52 to 35% is pretty significant. That gives him a decent amount of less health once he has that. Increased damage resistance while sprinting is pretty good, 43 to 55%. Increased burning damage of his card from 60 to 100%. Definitely needed to be done. His Pyromaniac card burn damage was never that great to begin with. So the 40% increase, we'll see what that does. I mean, Would have even liked to see a 100% increase on that, but 40%, it is still a buff. And they changed his assault rifle damage perk to an all damage perk, and that is a good change. He should have never had an assault rifle damage perk. It should have been all damage. Paddock has a replaced ultimate cooldown perk. Well, they replaced his ultimate cooldown perk with a precision rifle damage perk, which makes more sense for him. I kind of like that change as well. I do like that change, actually. And Marcus, because he needed the debuff. I know everybody loves Marcus. I've been playing the shit out of him too, but yeah, he kind of needed this. He's too OP. They reduced his multiplier of his rifle feedback card from 0.00075 to 0.00050. So he's gotten a 33% reduction on his rifle feedback. Now, I don't actually know when this change got implemented. I just did a game on Harbor, and I had my Living Legend from like wave 5 or 6 to the end of the game. So, don't know how much of a big deal it is. I mean, it's going to be a little bit harder in the initial to get yours up, but with skipping of waves, I imagine at max level still going to be able to keep your ability going for a very long time. Clayton now has a reduced ultimate cooldown multiplier per hit on his heavy charger card from 0.017 to 0.0014 on level 6. So roughly 20% reduction. I'm not doing the math right now on that. But yeah, he has a slight reduction on his heavy charger card. Not that big of a deal for him, but it is a little bit of a reduction. Lizzie has increased damage of her Lizzie's Enforcer Expert card from 60 to 70%. Don't think any of you are going to care about that. I personally think that's pretty much irrelevant. Nice at the start when you're leveling her up. So, I mean, it's fine. If you're equipping that card should be a little bit higher. And Foz has a reduced damage of his ambush card from 140 to 100, which I do not like. They finally had the sniper right where he could do immense damage on everything with full health. Well, actually, I've actually seen some people on Masters one-shot Scions with very low cards, just because they had the ambush card on with the new value at 140. A lot of people were asking me, what do you actually need to start one-shotting this or that? So, until I actually do some testing, 100% ambush for a level green card and people actually having to do the work, to level him up and make him a one-shot sniper, I might actually think that this is a fair change. His ambush is pretty ridiculous at 140. I've seen people with 2 and 3s, and then the ambush maxed out, or 4 or 5, and one-shotting Master Scions. Which I think he should be able to do, but I think you need to play a few games with him and get your cards up a little bit more before you actually get to the point of the one-shotting the Scions and everything in the game, besides bosses. And anyway, that is all the changes for PVE for the characters. I hope that helps.